Greetings, fellow action figure connoisseurs, and welcome to another episode of Digital Caveman Presents G.I. Joe Tuesday. I, as always, am your host, the Digital Caveman, and today I will be presenting you with the G.I. Joe Classified Series number 83, Tunnel Rat. Let's get into it! Let's begin with a look at the packaging. And here on the top we have 4 and up. Warning! Don't stick things in your pie hole that do not belong there. A hole there for the peg hook for retail. G.I. Joe Classified Series. The G.I. Joe and the stripes are embossed. On this white stripe right here we have nice digital renders of the figure's accessories. Nice practical shot of Tunnel Rat. And then some artwork here. G.I. Joe Classified Series. And again, the G.I. Joe and the stripes is embossed, and it goes around to the side. The embossing does. G.I. Joe Tunnel Rat. G.I. Joe! Hasbro. On the bottom, small print, fine print, legalese print, made in China print, symbols I'm not going to learn, and a barcode. On this side, nice artwork of Tunnel Rat. G.I. Joe Classified Series number 83. And on this side, G.I. Joe, that same artwork, number 83 still. There's the QR code for the file card stuff. I'll hold it there for a second. If you need to pause it to scan it, you can. And then there is some of his file card information. On the back, he's number 83, G.I. Joe Tunnel Rat. And you can see it got bent up. And this came from Pulse. But nice digital render of the figure and his accessories and some close-up of some details there. He's 6 inches tall or 152 millimeters. Warning, attention, Achtung, don't stick things in any language pie hole that do not belong there. Do not give it to babies. Attention, especially don't stick it in your French pie hole. Parents, GIJoe.com. Small, fine, legalese made in China print. This symbol I'm not going to learn. That symbol I'm not going to learn. And Hasbro print. That, my friends, is a look at the packaging. Let's take a look at the figure and his accessories. And here we have handy dandy tweezers for when we need them. And first of all, here is his primary weapon. It's got a couple of paint apps on it. Nice molded details in it. The scope does not remove. The bipod does fold up. And the ammo can is removable, and you can see it's got a rectangular port right here, and then there's a rectangular post. And there you have it, my friends. A nice silver paint app on it for the bullets on the ammo can. So, a very cool piece. Next up, we do need the tweezers. So here we have a knife molded in black plastic and nice silver paint app for the blade. Then we have his sidearm, which is looks to be a large caliber revolver. And no port in the end of it for a blast effect. But otherwise, nice molded details. Looks to be molded in black plastic, and then it's got this for a paint app, and it has a nice texture in it as well, which is not coming up too well in the camera there. Maybe you can see it a little bit there. So I like that. Next up, he comes with 2 flashlights. You can see it's got a nice little paint app there for where the light's supposed to come out. Nice molded detail, molded in black plastic, and again there are 2 of those. Then he also comes with this night vision setup, and for the lenses it's got some nice paint apps in there. Nice molded detail. This is supposed to work across the line, so not just for tunnel rant, so anybody's supposed to be able to use it. Next up, we have this nice satchel or messenger bag. I'd rather prefer to call it a satchel. It's got some nice texture details in the molding there, and then nice looking buckle and stuff there. It's even got some details here on the back. Just a, you know, flexible plastic strap there. Then here he's got an ammo belt that he wears across his shoulder, and it's molded in silver plastic, it looks like. And then this is a paint app, the band that holds the bullets. And then his last accessory is this big old backpack, and again it's got some nice texture details in there on it. Some couple of paint apps right there for those buckles, a couple of ports right here for the flashlights, a post where it goes in his back, and then some nice textured and sculpted details here on the back of it as well. So no paint app for that clip or on that side. Lots of little Molly looking compatible stuff. So there's that. Let's take a look at the figure himself. This is also a separate piece along with this neckerchief or bandana or scarf, whatever you want to call it, that's around his neck. Those can both come off as well. And on this one, it's molded in this color, and then it's got black here for a paint app, and then the Joe Pro. And then on the figure itself, it looks like the head is one continuously molded piece rather than having separate hair or top of the head glued on. So he's got some nice details here on the face of, you know, that camouflage makeup. And then nice on the eyes as well. So pretty good there overall. And then most of him appears to be molded in the correct colors. We've got some, you know, some of that camo paint on his forearms here. We've got Tunnel Rat right there, Tampo, nothing on this side. Nice silver paint app for the belt buckle, and then not much else. Everything else looks to be molded in the correct color plastic, except for maybe these look like they're paint app, the knee pads. Well, let's take a look at his articulation real quick. He's on that standard G.I. Joe classified articulation scheme. Ball at the bottom of the neck and dumbbell at the top. So he looks up that far, he looks down that far. He's got some chicken neck, he's got some waggle. He can do the full exorcist butterfly at the shoulder, goes back that far, goes forward that far. 360-degree rotation as well at the shoulder, and he can raise his arm up. We'll go ahead and call that 90 degrees. Cut at the upper bicep for a full 360-degree rotation. Double hinged pinless elbow, and it gives you that much bend. 360 degrees of rotation at the wrist, on and in and out hinge. This side is on, up and down. Classic ab hinge in there, but he does have a half dumbbell or ball at the waist. Allows him to bend back that far, lean forward that far. He's got all kinds of hula in there. He can lean left and right. He can rotate 360 degrees. At the hips, he gives you the full splits. It is on a pull down hinge. He can kick forward right at 90 degrees, backwards maybe about 3 steps, cut at the upper thigh for a full 360 degree rotation, double hinged pinless knee, and it gives you that much bend. Then at the ankle, tilts down that far, tilts up that far, and forward facing pin for rocker. Now I forgot to mention earlier, he's got a lot of texture there on his pants as well. So nice molded detail just throughout this figure. So now as far as his accessory storage goes, did I do that right? Probably not. Let's see if it goes the other way. No, that don't really work. So I must have had it right the first time. Let's try it again. Maybe it's this way. Yeah, that looks like it works a little better. Maybe not. Anyway, it does go back on here. So I think maybe that's the way it goes. And it doesn't really sit on there real great either. And then he's got this bag here, his satchel full of tunnel equipment. Then on his backpack, these 2 spots where the flashlights go. And just kind of push right in there. And once you get them in there, you can rotate them around a little bit so that they're shining in a specific direction if you want. His revolver goes in his shoulder holster right there. Let's see. Sheath for his knife is right here on his leg. So let's take the knife and just slide it right in there. There we go. Although that looks backwards. So yes, it fits better that way. And then his night vision apparatus just kind of slides down over his head. You might have to play with it a little bit to get it lined up properly. Backpack, there's a post here on his back, or port on his back rather. Post is on the bag, and then it just ports right there into place. And then as far as his rifle, there is no storage for it. He just has to hold it. And I dropped the ammo bucket. Well, I didn't drop it, it fell out. But you got what I meant. Dadgummit, now it's come out of his hand. So there you have it, my friends. A look at the figure and his accessories. It's time for my favorite part of a review, comparisons. And here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tunnel Rat with the G.I. Joe Classified Series Low Light and the G.I. Joe Classified Series Spirit Iron Knife with Freedom. Here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tunnel Rat with the Valaverse Action Force Swarm Trooper with Swarm Gear and the Valaverse Action Force Scarab. For our final set of comparisons, here we have the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tunnel Rat with, from the Marvel Legends series, making his cameo appearance, Stan the Man Lee. From the G.I. Joe Classified Series, the Hasbro Pulse exclusive Regal variant Cobra Commander. From Star Wars The Black Series, the Archive Edition 501st Legion Clone Trooper. And for a 7-inch scale comparison, from the Masters of the Universe Masterverse line, the 40th Anniversary He-Man. For final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Series Tunnel Rat, I have to say, overall, I like this figure. I think it's a cool look, and it does really go back to that original Real American Hero part of it. He does come with a good bit of accessories, a really big backpack, but I think maybe the overlays on the chest are a bit much. So you've got his, shoulder holster, you've got the bullets, you've got the satchel, and it just seems like it piles up a little too much. Again, well, maybe not again. This is the first time I've said it in this review, but that's my opinion. Your mileage, of course, may vary. And it's not to say I don't think he should come with these things. And, you can remove them if it's an issue for you. But it does take away from the look of the figure a little bit. And it's hard to say they could have sculpted some of this stuff in, but that's really not the way of Classified as it was with Real American Hero. You had sidearms that were molded in and knives that were molded in that you could never use, and that we can on, more modern figures. Those pieces are overlays, and it's things you can put on or take off or do whatever you want with it, and it's options. And if you don't want all these layers on him, you can take the layers off. But like I said, for me, even though the layers look a little compounded at certain points and just lay over each other, and it takes away from the look of that original figure, or at least the way that I remember him. So, but overall, again, I do think, this is a good version of Tunnel Rat. Maybe not 100% true to the original, but it's pretty darn close in least the way I remember it. And I do like all the accessories and the overlay options if you choose to put the things on or you don't. So that's, you know, options are optional. And so that's cool. I do like the paint apps on the night vision goggles and the color on the showing the flashlights are on, because those flashlights, if you've never used a flashlight like that, they did have colored lenses that you could put into them for if you're using it in the daytime or nighttime, or you didn't want it to be as visible, things like that. And so there were clear ones, there were red ones. Those are the ones I remember. There might have been some green ones too. But those are the ones I remember. But again, like I say, I have to say that I recommend Tunnel Rat as, you know, a real American Hero brat that I was as a child. And not that I was a brat as a child, but, you know, I do love my, you know, the mythos of real American Hero. And to me, that is G.I. Joe against Cobra and Destro. Well, that does it for the review. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed making it. Only support from viewers like you make this programming possible. Each view does count, and I do appreciate each and every single view that I receive. Thank you, and thank you so very, very much for supporting this channel through viewing. If you're interested in supporting my channel further, I am now offering memberships at various tiers. Click the join button on my YouTube page, or check this video's description for the link and see if any membership offers are right for you, but only if you are in a position to do so. Comment below, like, share, subscribe if you would like to see more content, or just help the channel grow, or both, that's even better. And don't forget to ding that bell so that in the future you will be notified as my new content becomes available. That's a wrap, folks. I'll see you next time.